What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Nash, and today I'm going to be going over the 3 questions you need to be asking at the end of every interview. So if you've been to a job interview, you know that they always ask, do you have any questions for me, or do you have any questions for us? And the goal is for you to really, ask questions. You have to. A lot of people are going to say, oh, I don't have any questions. You're not supposed to be doing that. You have to be asking questions. And a good way to look at this is going to be, the mentality that you have to have when you go into a job interview, right? So it's a two-way street. Like I always say, I was doing a live stream on this earlier today. It's going to be, the first part is going to be the job is looking to see if you're going to be a good fit for the position itself as well as the company. Now, you're going to be looking to see if the job is a good fit for you, or maybe the company as a whole, is it a good fit for you? Do you enjoy that work environment, right? So you've seen some companies that are, really chill, they have a lot of social events, and you've seen other companies that are, competitive. It's a fast-paced work environment. So you have to decide exactly what you are looking for, and you can do this by asking them questions, right, when you're given the opportunity to do so at the end of an interview. So you have to be sure to ask questions. So I'm going to give you 3 questions that you need to ask, probably the best questions that you ever ask, that are going to answer a lot of things for you. Now, before I even go into the questions, you want to avoid things like money, anything related to money, which is going to be, the pay, or, the raises or the bonuses. You want to avoid that on the first interview, right? If it's your first time talking to the company, maybe it's, the HR manager who's interviewing you, you want to avoid anything related to money and compensation and things like that. You want to avoid that. You can do that at a later interview, but the first one, you want to have a good first impression. All right. So the first question is going to be, they say, do you have any questions for me? You're going to ask, what are the day-to-day tasks that I have to do? Like, what does a day look like? Let's say you're applying for a financial analyst position. You can ask, what does a day, look like for someone who's doing this job, right? So in this case, they're going to go over, some of the things you're going to be doing daily, right, for the job, whether it's an accountant position, finance, whatever job really. They're going to be going over what you do on a daily basis. Obviously, there's going to be things that are random, things that are unique to each day. But for the most part, you're going to get the things that you're going to be doing for the most part, right? So whenever you ask this question, you're going to get to know exactly what you're going to be doing. So if you hear something that you don't like, then that's a sign that, it might not be a position for you. So asking this question is really gonna help you decide if this is the job for you, if you want to be doing this every single day, right? Because always my recommendation is, if you're going to be working a job, try to stay there for at least 1 year, 2 years, so that it doesn't look like you're jumping from company to company, right? So you want to make sure that you're picking something that you're going to be enjoying, that you're going to be able to do for the next year or two, right? So that's why you ask, what does it look like on a daily basis? What are the things that I'm going to be doing if hired on a daily basis? All right, so now the second question is going to be, what does it take for someone in this position, which is a position you're applying for, to be a successful employee in the company? So, like I said, you're not supposed to ask anything related to money. This is doing that, but in a really, really clever way, right? If you're asking, what does it take to be successful? They're going to talk about work ethic. I can tell you exactly what the employer is going to talk about. The work ethic, right? Being reliable. And they're going to talk about, those are like the 2 common things they're going to talk about: work ethic and being reliable. And sometimes some employers will even go into, how they promote. They'll tell you, maybe we promote from within. We try to promote people that are showing this type of work ethic. People are doing this. We promote those people. So that's going to also give you a good estimate as to, how quickly you can climb the corporate ladder, or whatever job you're applying, how quickly you can really get a raise. They might go into that as well. So this is a way of kind of like asking, if they don't want to tell you about, money, they can just stick to, work ethic and being reliable. But if they want to tell you about that, you're going to see them talk about bonuses, talk about raises, talk about promotions. So that's a great way to ask that question. So that's the most important question. It's going to allow you to know, how fast you can move up and what kind of work ethic you need to have for that job. There are jobs where you can work so hard that you're going to be stuck at the same position for the longest time, right? So you want to make sure that this is a position that's going to allow you to move up. So asking this question is going to give you that opportunity. All right, so the last question has to be personal, right? When I say personal, it's going to be personal towards the person that's asking you, that's interviewing you, right? If there's multiple people, you ask all of them different questions or the same question, right? That's going to work really well, because what you want to do is sometimes when, companies are having interviews, it's going to be multiple people in a day that might be interviewing 4 or 5 people. So you want to leave a good impression, right? And there's no better way of doing that than making someone talk about themselves, right? Because a lot of people enjoy talking about themselves. If you ask me about, a topic that I really enjoy, I'm not going to stop talking. So that's what you want to do to the interviewers, right? So if you ask them a personal question, that's going to allow them to talk freely about themselves. So one of my favorite ones, if you want to stick to professional, you can ask about, how long have you been with the company, and what's the thing you enjoy the most about the company? Or, most time they talk about the culture, the company culture and things like that. And you can, follow up with, what do you do as a company to facilitate that culture? Like, for example, I applied for a while ago, I applied for a job, and the company culture was more like a family, right? So they do things as a family, as a company. That's kind of like the company culture. And my follow-up question was, so what do you do as a company to facilitate that family company culture? And then they talked about the events that they do and things like that, right? So that's kind of like how you can follow up with that, and they get to talk about, the things that they actually do. And also you can even make it more personal and ask, what do you like to do when you're not working, right? For fun, right? You can talk about that. And a lot of people are going to tell you, their hobbies. I like to go fishing. I like to go, walk my dog and things like that. And when people start talking about their hobbies, they're not going to stop talking. It's going to make them happy because they get to talk about things that are not just question and answer. They get to express the things they enjoy doing and things like that. So that's going to definitely make them remember you, right? It's a strategy. You want to ask, the professional questions first. You want to end with, the questions that are personal to the person that's interviewing you. And also, if you do ask a personal question and they start talking about their dog, and, don't just sit there like this, right? You have to be, react, smile, laugh, ask follow-up questions, ask what the dog's name is. You have to really be engaged, right? That's going to create kind of like a relationship between you and the person that's interviewing you. And that's really going to help you when they have to make the decision on who to hire among like 10 people or 5 people that they just interviewed. All right, so that is pretty much it when it comes to the 3 questions that you need to be asking at the end of every interview. And I can promise you that if you've gone to a job interview, they always ask you, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for us? They're going to ask you that, and you want to have those 3 questions ready to go, right? You can even memorize the answers, come up with stories in your head, right? You have to have those questions ready no matter what. So that is pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you guys have any other questions that that might be really important, but I think the ones I say that are the most important ones you can really ask, and they're gonna really benefit you to see if the company is a good fit for you. But that is pretty much for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.